Listen carefully. You may believe that time has been lost, that years have slipped through your hands like grains of sand. You may look at your past and feel regret, thinking of the moments wasted, the opportunities missed, the love unfulfilled. But I tell you now, nothing is truly lost in the eyes of God. Every delay, every setback, every tear you have shed was not in vain. You are on the brink of divine restoration. And how do you know? Because something within you has already shifted. You may feel a calm you cannot explain, a peace that does not match your circumstances. That is the first sign. It is the quiet whisper of God telling you, "Be still, for I am working on your behalf." And then doors begin to open, doors you never knocked on. Suddenly, the opportunities you once chased are now chasing you. The right people appear, the right resources flow, and what once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. But more than the outward changes, you will feel a release within. The chains of your past, the weight of regret, the endless questions of what if, they begin to dissolve. You no longer mourn what was lost, for you understand now that nothing was truly wasted. The timing of your life begins to make sense. What you once prayed for, begged for, fought for, it is coming, but in a way you never expected. And it will come faster than you imagined. Restoration is not a slow process in the hands of the divine. It is an acceleration. Years of struggle are undone in a moment. The time you thought was lost will be returned to you in multiplied blessings. But here is the greatest sign of all. Your faith is unshakable. Where once you doubted, now you trust. You move with certainty, not fear. You no longer ask when, because you know the answer. Now. God is restoring your wasted years. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. And all you must do is receive it. There comes a moment in life when, despite all outward appearances, a deep and unshakable calm settles within you. The storm may still rage around you, uncertainty, loss, and disappointment may still be present, but something inside tells you that everything is aligning, that what was once broken is being restored. This is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is a knowing, a divine assurance that cannot be explained by logic or reason. You begin to notice that the things which once disturbed your peace no longer hold power over you. The thoughts of past mistakes, the weight of missed opportunities, the regrets that used to haunt your nights, suddenly they lose their grip. It is not that you no longer remember them, but they no longer define you. Where once there was restlessness, now there is stillness. Where once there was fear, now there is trust. This shift does not come from the outside world. In fact, if you were to judge by external circumstances alone, you might think that nothing has changed. The same problems may still exist, the same uncertainties may still surround you. Yet within you there is a new presence, a quiet voice that reassures you, all is well. This is the first sign of restoration, the first glimpse of the divine working beneath the surface of your life. Others may not understand it. They may question how you remain so calm when everything seems to be in chaos. They may even tell you to worry, to panic, to fear for the future. But their words do not touch you, for you have already seen beyond the illusion of lack and delay. You have already glimpsed the truth that what is meant for you is already unfolding, even if your physical eyes cannot yet see it. This peace is not passive, it is powerful. It is the evidence that something unseen is at work, that everything is moving in divine order. It is the proof that restoration is near, for before anything manifests in the outer world, it is first established in the inner. And so, as this calm deepens, you find yourself releasing the need to force, to struggle, to demand. You no longer push against life, but instead you allow it to unfold. Even in moments of challenge, you do not react the way you once did. The same situations that used to upset you now barely move you. You recognize that every trial, every setback, every delay was not a sign of failure, but a necessary part of the unfolding process. You begin to trust in timing, not your own, but the divine timing that governs all things. As you walk in this newfound stillness, something extraordinary happens. The external world begins to shift to match the peace within. Opportunities arise effortlessly. Solutions appear where there once seemed to be none. The relationships that are meant for you come with ease, and those that no longer serve your path fall away naturally. What once seemed delayed is now arriving at the perfect moment. Not a second too soon, not a second too late. And then you realize the greatest truth of all. The peace you feel was never dependent on the outside world. It was always within you, waiting to be uncovered. The storm did not have to end for you to be at peace. The circumstances did not have to change for you to be restored. The restoration began the moment you surrendered the need to control, the moment you trusted in what you could not see. You no longer ask, when will it happen, because you understand that it already has. You no longer look to the outside for signs, because the only sign you needed was the deep calm within. That was your proof, your confirmation. You are not waiting for restoration, you are walking in it. And soon the world will have no choice but to reflect what you have already claimed. There comes a time in life when things begin to shift in ways you never anticipated. You may have spent years chasing opportunities, knocking on doors that never seemed to open, striving tirelessly to force things into place, but suddenly, without struggle, without effort, doors begin to open. Doors you never knocked on, doors you never even knew existed. This is the sign that divine restoration is unfolding in your life. You start to notice how opportunities come to you rather than you chasing them. The right people appear at the right time, bringing solutions to problems you once thought were impossible to resolve. Conversations seem to align perfectly, leading you to places and situations that feel almost predestined. You may have been searching for one thing, only to be led to something far greater. This is not luck, nor is it coincidence. It is the evidence of a higher order working behind the scenes of your life, aligning everything for your highest good. When doors open without you knocking, it is a sign that what you desire has already been prepared for you. It was never about struggle or effort. It was always about alignment. You will find that the more you let go of control, the more effortlessly things unfold. Perhaps in the past, you believed that success, love, or fulfillment required constant effort, that you had to prove yourself worthy of blessings. But now you see the truth. What is meant for you will find its way to you when you are in the right state of being. This shift may seem subtle. A chance encounter leads to an unexpected connection. A casual conversation turns into a life-changing opportunity. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, again and again. But as this pattern continues, you begin to realize that nothing is random. The doors that open were already destined for you. You just needed to reach the point where you could walk through them without resistance. The key is in trusting the process. When things start aligning effortlessly, do not question whether you deserve it. Do not hesitate out of fear or doubt. Too often people resist their own blessings, thinking it must be too good to be true. But what if it is simply the way things were always meant to be? What if all the struggle was only necessary until you learned to trust? You may notice that even what once felt like rejection now makes sense. The doors that remained closed in the past were never meant for you. The people who walked away, the jobs you didn't get, the opportunities that fell through, they were simply detours leading you to something far greater. And now, as things begin to unfold effortlessly, you realize that nothing was ever lost. Every delay was divine protection. Every setback was a setup for something better. As more doors open, you will also notice a shift in your mindset. You no longer feel the need to chase, to beg, to force things to happen. You walk with confidence, knowing that what is for you will never miss you. This is not arrogance, it is faith. Faith in the unseen. Faith in the knowing that you are being divinely guided toward the path that was always meant for you. As doors continue to open, you step through them boldly. You no longer question if you are ready, because you understand that the very fact that the door opened means you are. You do not second guess the blessings that flow into your life, because you now recognize them for what they are, evidence that you are in alignment with the highest plan for your life. You may have spent years knocking, searching, striving, but now you no longer have to. The way has already been made. The doors have already been prepared. All you must do is walk through them. There comes a moment when you realize that the past no longer has power over you. The regrets, the disappointments, the what-ifs that once held you captive begin to fade. It is not that you forget what happened, but you are no longer bound by it. The memories that once brought pain now feel distant, like something that happened to someone else in another lifetime. This is the quiet miracle of release. You do not force it, nor do you chase it. It simply happens. One day you wake up and notice that the heavy weight you carried for years is no longer there. The resentment, the longing, the sorrow, all of it has been replaced by a deep understanding that nothing was truly lost. Every experience, every delay, every perceived failure was not a waste, but a preparation for something greater. For so long you may have believed that you missed your chance, that time was slipping away, that the best days were behind you. You may have mourned opportunities that seemed to pass you by, relationships that ended before their time, dreams that never materialized the way you imagined. But now you see clearly. Nothing was ever taken from you. What is meant for you can never truly be lost. It can only be delayed until the moment you are ready to receive it. And so, as this realization settles in, you find yourself no longer looking back with longing or regret. The past is no longer something you wish you could change. It simply is. And more than that, you understand now that it served its purpose. It was never meant to hold you back. It was meant to shape you, to prepare you, to teach you things that only time and experience could. The wounds that once seemed so deep no longer define you. You do not feel the need to revisit old pain, to replay conversations, to relive moments that are long gone. You do not seek closure from people who have moved on, because you realize that the only closure you ever needed was within yourself. You are free, free from the need to explain, to justify, to make sense of what has already passed. This freedom brings a lightness to your soul. Where once there was heaviness, now there is peace. Where once there was doubt, now there is trust. You no longer see time as something that has been wasted, but as something that was always working in your favor, even when you did not understand it. Every delay, every detour, every so-called mistake was guiding you toward a greater unfolding. You move differently. You no longer hesitate out of fear that you will repeat the past. You no longer shrink yourself because of old failures. The past is no longer your enemy. It is simply a chapter in a book that you have already read. You take its lessons with you, but you do not stay stuck in its pages. And because you are no longer trapped in yesterday, you are finally free to fully step into today. You see new opportunities with fresh eyes rather than through the lens of past disappointments. You embrace love without fear, knowing that just because something didn't work before doesn't mean it never will. You take chances without hesitation, because you now understand that failure is not an ending, but a stepping stone. You walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that the years you once thought were wasted were actually working in your favor all along. Nothing was lost. Nothing was in vain. Every moment has led you to exactly where you are meant to be. And so you let go. not with force, not with effort, but with ease. You release the past because it no longer serves you. You embrace the present because it is where your power lies. And you move forward with a heart unburdened, knowing that the best is not behind you, it is ahead. There comes a time when you look around and realize that everything is unfolding in ways you could never have planned. The things you once desperately wanted but seemed out of reach now return to you effortlessly. The delays that frustrated you, the setbacks that made you question whether your desires would ever manifest, suddenly they all make sense. You begin to see that nothing was ever denied, only deferred, waiting for the right season. You may have spent years trying to force things into place, believing that if only you worked harder, pushed more, or strategized better, your desires would become reality. But no matter how much effort you put in, things didn't align the way you wanted. It felt unfair, as if life was withholding something from you. You questioned whether you were doing something wrong or whether you were being punished. But now, looking back, you see the perfection in the timing of it all. If you had received what you wanted when you first asked for it, would you have been ready? Could you have handled it with the wisdom and maturity you now possess? Often, what seems like a delay is actually divine protection. The universe was never saying no, it was saying, not yet. It was giving you time to grow, to become the person who could not only receive the blessing, but sustain it. As things start falling into place, you see how intricately everything was being woven together behind the scenes. The relationships that didn't work out made room for something healthier and more fulfilling. The opportunities that slipped through your fingers redirected you to something far greater than you could have imagined. The seasons of waiting were never about punishment. They were about preparation. You begin to trust in the flow of life in a way you never did before. Instead of rushing, instead of forcing, you allow things to unfold naturally. You no longer panic when things seem to be taking time, because you now understand that everything arrives when it is meant to. Not a moment too soon, not a second too late. There is a deep peace that comes with this realization. You stop comparing your journey to others, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be taken by anyone else. You stop resenting the past because you understand that every perceived setback was actually a setup for something greater. And as you move forward, you start noticing signs that reassure you, things aligning in perfect ways, unexpected doors opening, people appearing at just the right moment. It is as if the universe is confirming what you now know deep inside. Divine timing is real, and it is always working in your favor. You no longer chase because you know that what is meant for you will find you. You no longer beg for things to happen on your schedule because you trust that the universe's timing is infinitely wiser than your own. You walk with confidence, knowing that you are always exactly where you need to be. You release the need for control. You no longer resist the unfolding of your life, but instead you surrender to it. You know that what is coming is far greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. And because of this, you live in a state of gratitude, even before you see the full manifestation of your desires. This is the beauty of divine timing. It is never late, never early, but always perfect. It was never about waiting endlessly. It was about trusting completely. And now, as you step into this new season of alignment, you see with absolute clarity nothing was ever lost. Everything was simply waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. There is a moment when everything shifts. What once felt slow, stagnant, and out of reach suddenly moves with breathtaking speed. The doors that remained closed for years swing open effortlessly. The blessings you longed for, the dreams you thought would take a lifetime, arrive with an urgency that defies logic. It is as if time itself bends in your favor, making up for all the years you thought were lost. This is supernatural acceleration. It is the moment when divine timing meets divine speed. You spend so much time believing things would take forever, that success would be a slow and painful climb, that restoration would require years of effort. But now, what once seemed impossible happens in an instant. The financial breakthrough you prayed for appears unexpectedly. The relationships that were strained and broken are suddenly restored with a depth of love and understanding you never imagined. The opportunities that once seemed distant are now right in front of you, waiting for you to step into them. You realize that all the time you thought was wasted was never lost. It was being stored up, waiting for the right moment. And now, as things begin to move quickly, you understand that the struggles you endured were not in vain. Every lesson, every delay, every hardship prepared you for this moment. You are not just receiving what was meant for you, you are receiving it in a way that redeems the time you thought had been wasted. You notice how effortlessly things fall into place. What used to require years of planning and effort now happens with divine ease. You are no longer striving, no longer forcing things to happen. Instead, you are simply aligning with the flow of life. And in this alignment, things move faster than you ever imagined. The speed does not overwhelm you. You do not feel rushed or anxious. Instead, there is a deep peace within you, a knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You do not doubt whether you deserve these blessings, nor do you fear that they will be taken away. You understand now that what is meant for you will always find you, and when the time is right, it will arrive in a way that defies human logic. You begin to walk with a quiet confidence. You no longer worry about how things will happen, because you have seen firsthand how effortlessly the universe orchestrates the details of your life. You no longer cling to the old, because you understand that something greater is always on its way. And you no longer question whether you are worthy, because you know that everything unfolding in your life was destined for you from the very beginning. You realize that acceleration is not just about speed, it is about alignment. It is about moving in harmony with divine will, about trusting that when the moment is right, everything will come together in ways beyond your imagination. It is about releasing fear, releasing doubt, and stepping boldly into the life that has been waiting for you all along. This is the power of supernatural acceleration. It does not just bring blessings, it redeems time, it restores what was lost, multiplies what was given, and propels you forward in ways that human effort never could. And as you step into this season, you do so with the certainty that what once took years to build can now manifest in mere moments. The delays are over. The waiting has ended. The season of rapid restoration has begun. There comes a moment when something within you shifts. The doubts that once clouded your mind begin to fade. The fear that kept you paralyzed loses its grip. You no longer hesitate, no longer question whether things will work out, because deep in your spirit, you already know. Restoration is not coming, it is already here. Restoration is not coming, it is already here. You wake up with a certainty you cannot explain. Nothing in your external world may have changed yet, but inside there is a quiet confidence, an unshakable urge to walk in faith. You no longer need to see proof before you believe. You simply know that what has been promised to you is unfolding, even if you cannot yet see it with your physical eyes. This is not blind hope. This is not wishful thinking. This is the deepest kind of faith, the kind that does not waver, that does not second guess, that does not retreat when faced with challenges. You find yourself moving differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. You no longer beg for what is already yours. You no longer chase after things that are destined to find you. Instead, you walk as if you already have it, because in truth you do. You notice how your energy shifts. There is no more desperation, no more anxiety. Instead, there is peace. You trust that every step you take is leading you exactly where you need to be. You are no longer bound by the limitations of logic or the constraints of time. You no longer measure your progress by what the world tells you is possible. You understand now that what is meant for you is beyond human reasoning. It is already set in motion, and all you have to do is align with it. You stop looking for signs because you become the sign. Your very presence radiates the certainty of someone who knows their blessings are already here. You stop asking whether it will happen, and instead you start preparing for it. You make room for the abundance that is coming. You clear out the old to make space for the new. You walk into every room, every situation, with the assurance that you belong there. Fear tries to whisper in the background, reminding you of past failures, past delays, past disappointments. But you no longer entertain those thoughts. You recognize them for what they are, illusions meant to keep you small. You refuse to let fear dictate your actions any longer. You step forward with boldness, knowing that the only thing that ever stood between you and your desires was your own willingness to believe. And now you believe with everything in you. You understand that faith is not about waiting passively. It is about acting as if it is already done. It is about walking with the confidence of someone who knows they are already victorious. It is about speaking words of certainty, thinking thoughts of abundance, and carrying yourself in a way that reflects the truth of your spirit. You no longer pray from a place of lack, but from a place of gratitude. You do not ask for what is already yours. You thank the universe for delivering it. You do not plead for restoration. You rejoice in the knowing that it has already begun. This is the kind of faith that moves mountains, that bends reality, that calls forth the unseen and makes it visible. This is the faith that accelerates your manifestations, that draws everything you need into your life effortlessly. And as you continue to walk in this faith, you realize something profound. You were never waiting for restoration. Restoration was always waiting for you. The moment you chose to believe fully, the moment you decided to walk in faith without hesitation, was the moment everything shifted. You move forward with unwavering certainty. You no longer hope for change. You embody it. You no longer wonder if your breakthrough is coming. You live as if it has already arrived. And because of this, the world around you begins to reflect what has already happened within. The restoration is not on its way, it is here, and you are ready to receive it. Everything you have lost, everything you thought was wasted, is being restored. The years of struggle, the delays that once frustrated you, and the disappointments that seemed unbearable were never signs of failure. They were preparation. You were never forgotten, never forsaken. Every lesson, every hardship, every closed door was aligning you for this very moment. The signs are clear. A deep peace fills you even in the midst of uncertainty. Doors you never knocked on begin to open effortlessly. The weight of the past no longer holds you captive. Divine timing becomes undeniable, showing you that nothing was denied, only deferred. Acceleration begins to take place, bringing breakthroughs faster than you imagined. And above all, you feel an unshakable urge to walk in faith, knowing with certainty that restoration is not coming, it is already here. This is your season of renewal. The struggles that once defined you no longer have power over you. What you thought was lost has only been multiplied. You stand at the threshold of a new beginning, a life filled with abundance, joy, and purpose. The waiting has ended. The time is now. Thank you.